Hi everyone, I am Jana Larson from the Center for Global Environmental Education at Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota. I am the director of the Adopt-a-Drain program and the coordinator of a coalition of 75 clean water organizations in the metro area who are all working together to promote this program around the Twin Cities. Adopt-a-Drain is a program that mobilizes residents to take regular and sustained action to prevent flooding and reduce runoff pollution by adopting storm drains in their neighborhood and committing to keep them clear of leaves, trash, and other debris year-round. This is a grassroots program. Neighbors do the work in their own neighborhood. This is what drives long-term behavior change and creates social norms. And this is really the goal of the program. So it's not really so much about getting community groups to volunteer to quote unquote adopt a storm drain for a cleanup, but rather to ask people to make a commitment to keep the drain clear over the long term. Participants sign up online, and if they're accessing the website from home, the map will automatically center on their neighborhood, or they can manually type in an address and then select a storm drain. Blue storm drains are adopted and yellow are available. They create a user account which allows them to adopt and unadopt drains, track the amount of debris they collect, edit their profile, and see the amount of debris collected in their region. The idea for the program came to me when I read about the Adopt-a-Hydrant program in the city of Boston. Citizens were adopting fire hydrants and shoveling them out after heavy snowfalls. And I thought this is a program that could be easily applied to storm drains. Just ask residents to adopt a storm drain on their street and commit to keeping it clear. The Adopt-a-Drain program is based on principles from marketing and environmental psychology. I'll cite a few sources, but in general, these principles are widely agreed upon and appear in multiple places in the literature. The take-home messages, or the 5 main points here, are that raising awareness doesn't lead to behavior change. You need to tell people what you want them to do, get a commitment, make the commitment visible in order to build social norms, and measure and report successes to sustain engagement over time. I had been conducting a literature review on best practices in social marketing and community engagement, and I designed the program according to these principles. So the first is, programs aimed at raising awareness don't result in behavior change. For example, we have a lot of evidence in Minnesota that people care about water and even know a lot about water issues. The Minnesota report card on environmental literacy stated that 61% of Minnesotans have a basic understanding of non-point source pollution. One of our partners did a baseline study in their watershed district that showed that 93% of survey participants said they cared deeply about water. However, knowing about and caring about doesn't often lead to action. So tell people what you want them to do. All communications should focus first on telling people what we want them to do, and then why. Eric Eckel, the founder of Water Words That Work, always says, begin with the behavior. We try to get our audiences to care, but we don't tell them what to do if they did care, so they don't do anything, and then we think they don't care. Environmental psychologist Raymond DeYoung agrees. His basic text on the subject cites more than 50 years of research demonstrating that people are more likely to make large behavior changes when they start with a small action. So we emphasize one behavior, adopting a storm drain, that's quick and easy, 15 minutes twice a month. Be clear what you're asking people to do and break it down into steps. I also like to say that it's important to show a picture of people doing what you want them to do, smiling, looking happy, modeling best practices and safety, for example, wearing gloves, using tools. Get a commitment. Now, this has got a few parts to it. First, there's a difference between saying, please rake the leaves off your street, and asking them, would you be willing to rake the leaves off your street? Getting them to say yes significantly increases response rates. Doug Mackenzie Moore expands on this in his book, Community-Based Social Marketing, when he says that the commitments do another very important thing. They change the way people perceive themselves. In other words, when a person commits to raking the leaves out of the street, they come to view themselves as the type of person who cares about their neighborhood and about water to do something about it. Robert Cialdini, in his book Influence, says this has something to do with cognitive dissonance. We are constantly rewriting the story we have about ourselves in order to account for our actions and minimize cognitive dissonance. Secondly, make the commitment durable. Get it in writing, have them sign a form or a pledge. Verbal commitments work, but research shows that written commitments are even more powerful. And make the commitment public. Even just asking someone if you can publish their name in the newspaper as a supporter of your cause raises participation rates by 15 to 20% because people want to be viewed as consistent. Here's an example of a yard sign that we use, and on the left is a window cling that businesses can, or apartment buildings can display in their window behavior visible. We do a lot with social media. Here's a group of students who wrote a song about adopting their drain and put it online. We have an activity monitor on our website that shows what's happening moment to moment, people reporting and adopting drains. So we started with a pilot of this program for about 4 years before we finally launched Metro-wide in 2018 with a partnership formed from 30 cities, 4 counties, and 20 watershed management organizations. Really important in making this work were some visioning sessions that we did with the 50 partner organizations. And 2 main concerns came out of that visioning session. The first was around branding, marketing, and program ownership. Our partners wanted to be sure that if they were investing in this program, they were viewed as sponsors and were recognized as such by constituents in their area. So we created a system where sponsoring partners are named on each drain. You can see that this drain I've clicked on, 3 sponsors are named. Those sponsors are also named on confirmation emails, and if they receive a mailed packet, their logos are included in that mail packet. Partners also have access to customizable resources like this door hanger that they can use to, put the names of the relevant neighborhood and water body at the bottom of the door hanger, add their logos, and we have quite a few print materials like that are branded for Adopt-a-Drain but customizable by our partners. We also do this with social media posts that we have ready to go. People can put out on their own social media. And then, like I said, most of our participants receive a mailed packet in the mail that outlines how to stay safe, what kind of tools to use, how to separate waste, and who to contact if they have questions. There's a tip card on the back of that shows what anyone can do at home to reduce runoff pollution. And there's an image of the sign that we send to people. The signs name the specific water body the street drains to, in this case, the Mississippi River. The second really important concern that came out of those visioning sessions with our partners was the importance of being able to measure program outcomes. MS4s need to quantify the amounts of pollutants diverted from waterways by their educational programs, and Adopt-a-Drain allows them to do this. Also, participants, in order to stay engaged over time, need to have the idea and be reminded constantly that what they are doing is making a difference. This is what the reporting mechanism for participants looks like online. They're able to get sort of say mostly what it was they collected, mostly trash with some brown leaves. Then they can estimate the amount in pounds or gallons, and how long it took. This allows us to quantify citizen engagement. As you can see here in the Twin Cities metro area, between March of 2019 and February of 2020, we had about an additional 5,000 people sign up for the program, or additional 5,000 drains adopted, excuse me, and about 100,000 pounds of debris reported, and you can see it's broken up into the different pollutants. Data is one of the most important parts of our program, and we work pretty hard to remind people to report and increase our reporting rates, which are currently at 45%. So when users sign up, they commit to reporting and they choose how often they can receive reminders. We send a monthly newsletter with stories about program participants, tips on safety and sorting waste, latest reporting data, and all of those emails remind people to track their impact. We also, at the end of the year, send a friendly postcard that reminds people to report. They can just detach a postcard, write what they collected that year, and mail it to us. And we sent out, we got stacks and stacks of these back this year. It was really successful. Now, all of our partners have their own administrative account where they can see in the back end adoptions, cleanings, and users in their area. All of that data is sortable by city, county, watershed, and sub-watershed. And all that data is very easy to export and download into CSV files. That's it. I'm out of time. Thanks very much.